You know, when we hear the Mahabharata, we usually think ancient epic, right? A huge, complicated story about some great war. But what if it's more than that? What if it's not just a myth, but a kind of instruction manual for the stuff you and I deal with every single day?
And that's really the big question we're going to dig into here. Is this thing just a story about kings and warriors from thousands of years ago? Or is it something more? A timeless guide for, navigating our own battlefields? At work, at home, you name it. I think the answer is going to surprise you.
See, the real power of the Mahabharata, it's that it works like a mirror. It's not just telling you a story that happened way back when, it's reflecting us, our own struggles, our own tough choices, and yeah, those big conflicts that are always raging inside the human heart.
Okay, so let's jump into our first big lesson from this guide. This one's all about how to find clarity when you feel totally overwhelmed. And it all boils down to one single powerful idea: Dharma.
So what is Dharma? You often hear it translated as duty, but honestly, that's just scratching the surface. It's so much bigger than that. A better way to think about it is like your own internal moral compass. It's that thing inside you that points you towards the right way to act, the essential, correct thing to do in any given situation, especially when it's tough.
All right, to really get this, let's look at the most famous part of the entire epic, the Bhagavad Gita. It kicks off at this moment of absolute crisis. You've got the hero, the incredible archer Arjuna, standing on the battlefield. He's there to fight a war for justice, for what's right. But then he looks across at the enemy and he just completely falls apart.
And here's his dilemma, laid out perfectly. On one hand, you've got this crushing personal grief. I mean, he has to fight his own family, his cousins, his teachers, people he loves. But on the other hand, there's his dharma, his absolute duty as a warrior and a king to stand up to injustice. It's this gut-wrenching tug-of-war between his personal feelings and a much higher purpose.
And this, right here, is the key takeaway. The Mahabharata is telling us that real greatness, it's not about avoiding conflict or having an easy ride. Not at all. It's found in those moments, those really tough moments, where you have to make a choice, and you choose the hardest right over the easiest wrong. That is what it means to live your dharma.
Okay, let's dive into our second lesson, and this one is so relevant for us today, living in this world that's just obsessed with results. This is about how to act with purpose, but without all that crippling anxiety about the outcome. And it's all about getting a real understanding of karma.
And this quote from Lord Krishna, wow, it's got to be one of the most powerful lines ever written. You have the right to your action, but never to the fruits of your action. What it does is completely reframe how we think about karma. It's not about some cosmic scorecard of rewards and punishments. No, it's a practical, hands-on guide to finding mental freedom. So, what does that actually look like in practice? Well, here's a simple blueprint for it. Step 1 is simple. Focus everything you've got on the quality of your effort. Put your all into the work with total integrity. Then, step 2. You have to consciously detach from the result. Let go of whether you succeed or fail, because hey, you can't control that anyway. And the payoff? That's step 3. You find this amazing freedom from the fear of failure, that paralysis that can stop us dead in our tracks. All right, and that leads us to our third lesson. And this one might be the most profound of all. That massive, sprawling war we see in the epic, it's not just some historical event. It's actually a giant metaphor for the battlefield that exists inside every single one of us.
You see, the war in the story didn't just pop up out of nowhere. The epic is crystal clear on this. This huge, devastating conflict was the end result of lots of small, individual flaws that were just left to fester. We're talking about things like jealousy, pride, and greed, just building and escalating over years and years.
And the epic actually calls them out by name. It points to 3 main roots of all this conflict: greed, which is lobha, anger, or krodha, and pride, or arrogance, which is ahankara. And the thing is, these aren't just traits for some bad guys in an old story. They're universal human tendencies that we all have to deal with.
And this leads to what might be the Mahabharata's most important message. Every single external conflict, whether it's a fight in a family or a war between nations, it always starts as a war inside someone's mind. So if we want to create a better world out there, the very first step is to master ourselves in here.
So where does that leave us? How do we pull all of this together into something we can actually use?
Let's boil it all down into a clear, actionable takeaway from what is, really, a timeless guide to being human.
So here it is, your instruction manual, straight from the epic. Number 1, do your dharma. That means making the hard, right choice, even when it hurts. Number 2, act with integrity. Focus on your effort, not the outcome. That's real karma yoga. And number 3, master yourself. You have to recognize that the true battle, the most important one, is the one going on inside you.
So I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. The Mahabharata isn't just some ancient story collecting dust on a shelf. The battlefield of your life, it's happening right now. At your job, in your home, inside your own head. So the only real question left to ask is, what is your dharma today?